Welcome to Wonder Math. Today I'm going to go over the SAT practice test number 6, section 3. You can always find these formulas given on the front of each section. Number 1, Celine wants to purchase the tickets for the vendor to watch a tennis match. The vendor charges a one-time service fee, processing the purchase of the ticket, and the equation is 15n plus 12 represents the total amount in T dollars. Celine will pay for n tickets. What does 12 represent in the equation? So 12 must be the flat fee, the one-time service fee for processing the purchase of the ticket. So the price of the one ticket, no. The amount of the service fee, yes, that's a flat fee, $12. Total amount, that's T. Total amount, that's T. Yep. 2, a gardener buys 2 kinds of fertilizer. Fertilizer A contains 60% filler material by the weight, and the B contains a 40% filler material by weight. Together, the fertilizer bought by the gardener contains a total of 24 pounds of filler materials, which equation models this relationship where X is the number of pounds for A and Y is B. So 60% of X, so 0.6 of X, right? 60%, you have to move 2 decimal to the left to make it decimal, 0.6. Percent of means multiply 0.6 of X plus 0.4 of Y, 40%, must be equal to 240, right? So it is B. CD didn't change the decimals, 2 decimals from the percentage. 3, what is the sum of the complex number 2 plus 3i and 4 plus 8i? So you combine the i's and combine the whole numbers. So like terms, 2 plus 4 is 6, 3i plus 8i is 11i. How easy, right? 4, in the equation above, P and T are constants. Which of the following could be the value of P? So as you can see, the difference of square, A squared minus B squared equals to A plus B times A minus B, right? So I see plus and minus there, same thing, AB, and I see the difference of square here, which is 2x squared minus 3 squared equals to that, right? So what is P? So it's 2x plus 3, 2x minus 3. So P is coefficient of x, which is 2. T is 3, but it's asking for P, which is 2. Which of the following is the graph of the equation 2x minus 5? There are lots of questions involving y equals mx plus b. M is what? Slope, rate of change, rise over run. Y is the y-intercept, flat fee, what you begin with, right? Y equals mx plus b. So here you start off of the y-intercept negative 5. So this is like 2.5. No. Should be a negative 5. But slope is what? Positive, meaning it goes this way. This is negative slope. What about here? They both have positive slope, but the y-intercept is negative 5 here, and the slope was 2 over 1, rise over 1. So it must be D. If x equals to 2/3 y and y is 18, what is 2x minus 3? So let's just go ahead and solve for x. X equals to 2/3 y, y is 18. So you get 6 times 2, which is 12. So now you're solving for 2 times 12, right? X is, we got 12, minus 3, so 24, minus 3 is 21. Section 3, there are 20 questions for 25 minutes. It's non-calculator, so you cannot use a calculator for section 3. 7, a bricklayer uses the formula N equals to 7LH to estimate the number of bricks N. needs to build a wall for L feet long and H feet high. Which of the following correctly represents L in terms of N and H? So you don't really have to understand any of these. Just go ahead and solve for L. So N equals to 7LH. Solving for L means you have to get rid of everything else on the same side. So I divide by 7, and I have to divide by H. If you do that, I get L by itself. But if you do one thing on one side, you have to do the same thing on the other side. So I get N over, right, this is N over 7H. N over 7H is L. C. 8. The table above shows some values of the function w and t for which of the value x is, when you add this column and that column, right, would equal to x. So when you add these two, it's -4. When you add these two, you get 2. So that's right, right? Here it should be 5. Here should be 6. So what is x? What's the question? What is x? It is, x was what? 2. So it is B. 9. Is square root of x plus square root of 9 equals to square root of 64. So square root of x plus, what's square root of 9? 3 equals to square root of 64, 8. So square root of x equals to 5. So square root of what equals to 5? 25, right? So x is not 5, 25. 10. Jamie is preparing for the bicycle race. His goal is to bicycle an average at least 280 miles per week. At least mean greater or equal to 280 miles per week. That's miles per week. He bicycled 24 miles the first week, and 310 second week, and 320 the third week. And which inequality can be used to represent the number of miles x he will bicycle in the fourth week? So I have to add the one more, so I'll add it here. And what do you do each week? So you have to divide by 4. It's like average, right? So which one has that inequality? You don't just add x like that. You have to divide by 4, right, to get the average. So that's not true. That's not true. So here, what can you do? To get rid of 4 in the denominator, you can multiply by 4 on both sides to get all these added. And 4 times 280, so it can be D. The other ones are all different, right? Here you have to divide by 4. Should be divided by a whole thing by 4. Okay. 11. The vertex of the parabola in the xy plane above is 0, C. Which of the following is true about the parabola represented by -a? Same thing, -a. But now it moved B to the right or left, right? Depends on what the number is. So negative means what? It flipped. It reflected on the x-axis because it has negative. So now it looks like this, but it's shifted. So that's your what? Vertex C, B, C. So the vertex is B, C. That's true. It's minus. Okay, it's not negative B. It's minus B. So B is positive. And the graph opens upwards? No, opens downwards. So it is B. 12. Which of the following is equivalent to 4x squared plus 6x? I think when I copied it, it cut off the x. So it can't be x, as you can see. It won't be x. 4x plus 4, probably not. But it seems like you have to do the long division to change the equation in this form, right? Compounded form. So let me do 4x squared plus 6x divided by 4x plus 2. You do the long division. What you do is look at the first leading terms and see what you need to multiply to make this equal to that. 4x times x is 4x squared because our goal is to subtract and get rid of these leading terms. Then you get plus 2x. Don't forget to subtract the whole thing. So this is gone. I get 4x. So now 4x plus 1, so 4x times 1 is 4x, so 4x, and I have plus 2. So now, again, when you subtract, don't forget to subtract the whole thing. Then I get minus 2. So your remainder is negative 2. You divide, whatever you divide by, you put it in the denominator, and you add it with whatever you get on top, x plus 1, the whole number, if it was just the numbers. So you have it here, right? X plus 1 minus 2 over x, 4x plus 2, D. 13. In the equation above, t is a constant. If the equation has no real solution, which of the following could be the value of t? All right. So here, you have 2x squared minus 4x minus t equals to 0. So we don't want to have any zeros, meaning no roots, no hitting x-axis, right? No solutions. So let's look at the first term. This is how much you shift up and down, right? So if you look at 2x squared minus 4x, it must look something like this if it had a solution, right? Going over this, it opens up. So what you need to do is you have to bring it up. So to make it up, it has to be plus, so it has to be the minus negative. So if you have minus 1, it's going down. If it's minus 3, it's going down. So it has to be one of these two. So if it was minus 1 and adding 1, and if it didn't touch it, by lifting up 1, if it didn't hit the x-axis, that means when you add 3, it will also not have the answers, right? So it can't be B, right? It can't have 2 correct answers, so it has to be the highest one that is lifting 3 instead of 1, so it is A. 14, a laundry service is buying detergent and fabric softener from its supplier. The supplier will deliver no more than 300 pounds in shipments. No more than. That means less than or equal to 300. Okay? Each container of detergent weighs 7.35 pounds, and each container of fabric softener weighs 6.2 pounds. The service wants to buy at least twice as many containers of detergent as container of fabric softener. So we want to get at least, okay, let me see. Let D represents the number of container of detergent. So D must be greater, at least, greater or equal to 2 times we use S for softener, number of softeners to S, and 7.35 pounds for each detergent, D, plus 6.2 pounds per each fabric softener, so it's that. So it's these two inequalities. So I have it right here, A. Right? Which of the following is equivalent to A plus, so it is A plus B over 2 times A plus B over 2. The common mistake is that you just distribute square to both. No, that's not how it works. It's binomial squared, so you have to multiply by binomial by its binomial. So I get A squared plus AB over 2 plus AB over 2 plus B squared over 4. So I get A squared plus half of that plus half of that is just AB plus B squared over 4. So I get D. 16, if A of B over 4 is 16, positive integer A and B, what is one positive value of B? Okay? So it can be 16 raised to 1, right? So A is 16. B is, B over 4 equals to 1. So B can be 4. Can it be other answers? Yes. You can do 2 to the 4th, which is 16, right? So then A is 2. B over 4 equals to 4. So you get B equals to 16. There are multiple answers, but it says one positive value, so I'll just try one, and if it's true, don't try for the second one. Save time for the other questions. Usually the first question on the free response will be one of the easiest one out of 20 questions. What value of t is the solution of the equation above? So what do you do to get rid of 2/3? Divide by, or multiply by the reciprocal to get rid of it. So you do the same thing. So t equals to 15 over 4. Just write it as a fraction, okay? 15 over 4. 15 over 4. In the figure above, BD is parallel to AE. That means they're proportionally divided, each side. And this is also corresponding angles are congruent 90. So what's the question? Find CE. So let me call that X. So the ratio will be what? From this triangle to the bigger triangle, it will be 6 to 18. And as you can see, it's 6, 8, 3 times 2, 4 times 2, right triangle. Then this is 5 times 2, 3, 4, 5 triangle. So then it is 10 to X. 10 to X. So it is what? It's 1/3. So it's 10 times 3, which is 30. If you don't see that, you can cross multiply. So I get 6x equals to 180. Divide by 6 to get 30. X equals to 30. How many liters of 25% saline solution must be added to 3 liters of 100 saline solution to obtain 15% saline solution? So how many liters? Let me call that X. So 25%, again, it's 0.25 of X must be added to 3 liters. 10% of 3 liters, so times 3, becomes what? 0.15 saline solution, meaning times what? 50% of what? X plus 3. Total solution is now X plus 3. Okay? So let's go ahead and solve for X. So it's 0.25X plus 0.3 equals to 0.15X plus 45, but you have 2 decimals, so 0.45. Move smaller x's to keep the x's positive. So I get 0.10x, and let me move this minus 0.3 equals to 0.15. So when you divide by 0.10, divide by 0.10, which is 0.1, right? You don't have to add the 1. So it becomes 1.5, right? When you divide by a decimal, you move 1 decimal to the right. Or if you're not sure, it's 1.15 divided by 0.1 is what? 1 over 10. So when you divide by a fraction, it is 0.15 times, flip and multiply. So it's 10 times bigger, so it's 1.5. Okay. Last one. Point A and B lies on the circle with radius of 1. If the arc has a length of pi over 3, so here you have to use a unit circle. So pi over 3 is here, which is 60 degrees, right? 180 equals to pi. So 180 divided by 3 is 60 degrees. So the question, and this is pi over 3. The question is, what fraction of that circumference in the circle is length arc of AB? So it is 60 divided by 360, which is 1/6. If you can work with radian, it's pi over 3 divided by what's the whole circle? 2 pi. So you get 1/6.